Hello, Red Devil Brony here, and welcome to my next Top 12 list. Cartoon Network. Whatever your opinion on the network is, you at least gotta admit that they've made some pretty great shows over the years. And hey, some of their current shows are pretty good as well. And here is a list of my favourite cartoon shows from the network of cartoons. Before we start, a few rules. First rule. Only shows that Cartoon Network has produced themselves will be on this list, so no shows like Teen Titans Go, Pokemon, or Sonic Boom. And the second rule, that this counts as a second rule, is like all my lists, it's my own personal opinion. These ain't the all-time best Cartoon Network shows, these are just my personal favourites. And I'd love to know what your favourite Cartoon Network shows are as well. Anyway, enough talk, let's start this list. Red Devil Brony's Top 12 Cartoon Network Cartoons. Why Top 12 you ask? Now, before I start, there's one thing you have to get out of the way. Steven Universe will not be in this list. Now calm down. I'm not putting Steven Universe off this list because it's bad. No, it's because I've never seen a single episode. But I'm sure one day I'll check the show out, eventually. And hopefully this will be the last time I piss off a major fanbase during this top 12 list. Number 12, Adventure Time. Oh dear, I'm so sorry, but just hear me out. Again, don't get me wrong, I think Adventure Time is an amazing show, and I can see why so many people love it so much. But, to be brutally honest, I haven't seen that many episodes of Adventure Time, and from the episodes I've seen, they're either really good or just plain boring. None of the episodes I watched were average. Please be kind if you're hate. Anyway, the general premise of this show is the adventures of Fun, the last surviving human, and Jake, the shape-shifting dog who is voiced by Bender himself, John DiMaggio. And yes, it's just as awesome as it sounds.
I am ready to receive instruction from the realm of creation above me for the sandwich I am about to conceive. I am open. Use me.
There are also other characters that you would expect, like the Princess, Princess Bubblegum, and the Ice King, voiced by SpongeBob himself, Tom Kenny, who, tired of Jake, is my favourite character on the show. Let's just say episodes involving the Ice King are the ones that most of the time I like. And speaking of the Ice King, the episode that involves his past is one of the best episodes of not just animation I've ever seen, it's one of the best episodes of any TV show I've ever seen. It's well written, well executed, and gives a great tragic origin story to a character we knew very little about. It also is one of the most heartbreaking episodes of any TV show I've ever seen. It's downright depressing.
My name is Simon Petrikov. I am recording this tape so that people will know my story. Now, I never believed in the supernatural stuff myself, just had a fascination with superstitions. But everything changed when I came into contact with this item. I jokingly put it on my head just for a laugh or something, and that's when it started. The visions. I fought with them, shouted at them until I realized it wasn't real, it was the crown. I quickly took it off and saw my fiancée in front of me, looking at me with such contempt. Since then, I now see the visions always, whether or not I wear the crown. They tell me the secrets of the ice and snow, that the power of the crown will save me with its frost. As you can see, my skin is beginning to turn blue. My body temperature has been lowering at a supernatural rate to what is now about 30 degrees Celsius. I don't know when it will end. I'm really scared. Watch over me until I can find my way out of this labyrinth in my brain and regain my sanity. And then maybe, Betty, my princess, maybe you will love me again. Please love me again, Betty.
Oh, and there's another character I like. He's the Lich King. And I swear, he is one of the scariest villains in cartoon history. I mean, just look at him. This is one of the scariest things I've ever seen in anything. It's just, ugh. I mean, you're aware children watch the show as well. Hey, future me, can you put something cute on the screen? He's really starting to freak me out. Thanks, future me. Like I said earlier, in my opinion, the episodes of Adventure Time are either perfect or sometimes ranging from poor to just downright boring. Sometimes I'm so entertained and invested in Adventure Time episodes, and sometimes I just want to change channel. But despite all that, I can totally understand why so many people adore this show. There is no doubt about it, this is one of the most creative and grossing shows that Cartoon Network has ever created, and has spawned one of the most interesting universes in cartoon history. Adventure Time. This is certainly one adventure that will give you a great time. Now, if you Adventure Time fans are pretty pissed at me for putting Adventure Time 12 on my list, yeah, just look at what finished 11th on my list. You'll probably hate me when you find out. I'm so dead. Number 11. The Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack. I'm so sorry, Adventure Time fans, but I just like stupid crazy cartoons, like this one. But, despite all that, we can still be friends, right? If I could describe this show, I would say it's Cartoon Network's attempt at making a SpongeBob-like show. And do they succeed? Sort of. Now, let's get one thing out of the way. Does The Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack have better characters than Adventure Time? No. Does it have better stories than Adventure Time? No. Does it have better mythology? No. Is The Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack higher than Adventure Time on my list? You're darn sure right it is. The overall premise of this show is about the adventures of Flapjack, obviously raised by a sassy whale called Bubble. That happens. Flapjack lived a peaceful life until he is saved by a salty sea captain.
'Tis a sugary bride.
No, not him. This is Captain Knuckles. And hey, does his voice sound familiar to anyone?
You might have Flap and the rich lady under your spell, but it's gonna take more than that to impress me. This one here's a loop knot, otherwise known as the poop loop.
That's right, it's a flying dustman from SpongeBob. You know, here's the tip, guys. If you're trying to rip off a popular cartoon show, SpongeBob, it's probably not the best idea to hire the same voice actors, because it makes it more obvious what you're ripping off. But I'm getting sidetracked. The overall plot, I use that term very loosely, of the show is about Flapjack and the captain trying to find Candied Island.
Come with me, we'll go and see a place called Candied Island.
An island full of candy. Well, what else would it be full of? To the best of my knowledge, I don't think they ever find it. Mainly because Flapjack is, a complete idiot, and Captain Knuckles is a pretty lousy captain, so it shouldn't really surprise anyone. Apart from their attempts to find Candy Island, the vast majority of the show takes place on Stormalong Harbour, nice name, which is home to many strange individuals. Also, fun fact, did you know that Pee Wee Herman himself, Paul Reubens, was originally cast to voice Flapjack? But apparently, he did not show up for the recording session, so show creator Thorpe Van Orman decided to do the voice himself. And, luckily for him, it stuck. Gee, Paul Reubens must be distraught. I mean, imagine turning down the voice acting of a lifetime. I mean, playing Flapjack from The Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack. I'm pretty sure he struggles to get to bed at night. Another reason I really like the show is the variety of animation that is used. The vast majority of the show is of course in 2D animation, but sometimes you can see scenes of stop motion involved, like in the intro, and heck, sometimes even live action is used in some episodes. Oh, and for those of you who hate this show, I have no problem with that, but just remember, John Infantino and J.G. Quintel are creative directors on the show. Yes, J.G. Quintel, who, as I'm sure you're aware, is the creator and voice of Mordecai on regular show. So who knows, maybe if we never got this, we would never got the amazing cartoon regular show. Oh, and don't worry, I'll be talking about that later. The Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack. It may be SpongeBob ripoff number 2, but I still like it. What's SpongeBob ripoff number 1, you ask? Well... Number 10. Camp Lazlo. Yeah, Flapjack and Laszlo are having adventure time. Yeah, you can unsubscribe and block me now. Yes, this is Camp Laszlo, or as I like to call it, SpongeBob Ripoff number 1. Because this show tried to compete with SpongeBob SquarePants by adopting a similar style of humour, and overall basically similar show. But considering how SpongeBob is still on TV these days and Camp Laszlo wasn't, I think we all know who won that battle. And surprisingly, just like the marvellous misadventures of Flapjack, there are also SpongeBob voice actors in this TV show. The two camp counsellors, Scoutmaster Lumpus and Sinkman, are both voiced by SpongeBob himself, Tom Kenny.
Are you aware that the whole time I've been Scoutmaster here at Camp Kidney, nobody, including myself, has ever caught a fish? Pathetic, sir.
And hey, does this guy sound familiar?
Oh, great. Here come the fishing pros from Jelly Cabin.
Curses! It's not fair! Krabs is being interviewed by Perch Perkins, and I've never even had one customer!
That's right, it's Mr. Lawrence, or Sheldon J. Plankton, from SpongeBob. But anyway, on to the show. This show follows the adventures of 3 campers at a poorly run camp, Camp Kidney. The trio are Laszlo, an eccentric monkey, Raj.
Would you like to hear more about it in my hot tub?
No, not that Raz. This Raz, a timid Indian elephant, who, I swear to God, you'll never guess who does his voice.
It is very spooky down there. I think I see fingernails.
Right on. I am gonna hit a homer today.
That's right, it's Jeff Bennett, who has voiced a lot of characters in his voice acting career, but most notably, he was Johnny Bravo in, of course, Johnny Bravo. And of course, Clam, an albino rhinoceros. Oh, Clam. Despite being the main character, he barely ever talks. Most of the time, he'll just repeat what the last person said.
He can't fall asleep without a story.
Story. Another story. Sequel. Snaky and temper.
But I still like him for that. Now, I say Clam is my second favourite character in the show. Who's my favourite character? Well, it has to be Edward T. Platypus, who, as I said earlier, is voiced by Mr. Lawrence. And by God, not only does he have the same voice actor, I think he also shares the same characteristics as Plankton as well. He's sadistic, cruel, and sometimes just downright evil.
How was your movie night? How was my movie night? I'll tell you how it was. Can I tell you how I loathed it? How I would have preferred sitting in a cow's stomach watching grass be digested?
Man, what does it take to get run over around here?
No need to wish me a happy birthday. Just being a big boy is birthday enough.
I am loving it.
No!
No!
What are you smiling at?
I think it's time for you to lose some weight, fatty. That's what it is.
Let me out! I can't take this! You must die! Sprocket-infested, low-life, celluloid big boy excuse for us!
Yes, I can hear you. Can you bring it up? I can't risk stepping into the light. The whale might see me.
No, please! Anything but a big boy movie! Show me Mr. Cotton!
Oh, call off your daughter, Krabs! Call her off!
Time for my own activity.
This plan C can't possibly fail! Oh,
That does it! No more snuggle time! No more tummy time! No more baby time! It's big boy time now, baby! And I demand to be treated as such!
all right, I get it!
I'm
Loaded with camp spirit! Get out!
I'm sure glad today's my birthday.
No need to get worked up over this, Krabs. Just give me the secret formula and I'll be on my way.
You know, illegally trespassing in the Marshmallow Shack is a very serious crime, punishable by expulsion. So what do you think Lumpus would say if he saw this?
By tomorrow, I'll have the formula. Then everyone will eat at the chum bucket, and I will rule the world!
You can turn off now, you lame! Ah! I feel ridiculous.
Ow.
But regardless of that, he's still my favourite, always trying to ruin Laszlo's fun, and of course, always failing. He also enjoys the suffering of others as well, not just Laszlo, and he's also a real suck-up to Scoutmaster Lumpus. Laszlo was often annoying Edward, usually unintentionally. Because of his playful nature, he is oblivious to the fact that Edward finds him incredibly annoying. Oh, and by the way, did I mention Laszlo's a hippie? Yeah, he's a hippie.
I'm a hippie, man.
Oh, and another fun fact, this show was created by Joe Murray, who created the 90s Nickelodeon hit Rocko's Modern Life. Just thought I'd put that out there. There were also other characters in the show, but for the life of me, I can barely remember any of them, apart from Chip and Skip. But other than those two, the rest are pretty forgettable. The only way I could describe Chip and Skip is imagine if Patrick from SpongeBob was split in half and both halves became sentient. That's basically Chip and Skip.
We are seated.
Oh yeah, I knew that.
He predicted we would sit after we did it. He knows the past and the present. He said we would sit, and we did. We sit after we will sit again.
Either that, or they're a bunch of complete idiots. All in all, I think Camp Plaza was a great show. It might not be the greatest show on Cartoon Network, but looking back on some of the episodes making this list, this was a really funny, really interesting cartoon. And I'm glad I got to rewatch some of these episodes, because they're fairly enjoyable to watch. It might be an obvious ripoff, but that doesn't mean it's a bad cartoon. Camp Lazo. I've never been to camp before, but I doubt I'll ever go to this one. Number 9. The Powerpuff Girls. A boy watching a show about girls? Oh, the horror. Well, firstly, fuck you. Powerpuff Girls was the shit, and you know it. Anyway, do I really need to explain the show? Well, if you're under the age of 10, I probably should. And no, I'm not talking about that shit remake. The premise of this show is, well, you know what? I'll let Tom Kenny explain it for you.
Sugar, spice, and everything nice. These were the ingredients chosen to create the perfect little girl. But Professor Utonium accidentally added an extra ingredient to the concoction, Chemical X. Thus, the Powerpuff Girls were born! Using their ultra superpowers, Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup have dedicated their lives to fighting crime and the forces of evil!
How many times have I said Tom Kenny in this video? Jeez. And that's the premise of the show. Some loner who couldn't get a woman decided to make his own test tube monstrosities himself. Oh, and they fight crime as well. The show centers around 3 superhero fighting girls, Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup. Blossom, commander and the leader. Bubbles, she is the joy and the laughter. And Buttercup, she's the toughest fighter. The show takes place in
the city of Townsville.
Yeah, that place. And like most places with superheroes, there has to be supervillains as well. And boy, does the show have villains, like Fuzzy Lumpkins, who's basically an angry southerner and a borderline racial stereotype.
Get off of my property! Now!
The Gang Green Gang, a bunch of teenage hoodlums who partake in minuscule crimes. And the Rowdy Rock Boys, Brick, Boomer and Butch, male counterparts of the Powerpuff Girls. And of course, one of the most famous villains in the show, Mojo Jojo, an evil genius monkey who was created by Professor Utonium. And of course, or her, or whatever this is.
What the fuck is this? What the fuck is this?
You know what? Fuck it, it's the devil. I mean, it so clearly is. I mean, just look at him, her, it, whatever it is. I could talk for hours about this guy, girl, thing, whatever. He is one of the scariest villains in cartoon history. You know what? He might even be scarier than the Lich King. Yeah, maybe. He might not look like much, but believe me, don't get him angry. Her, it, whatever. Probably the scariest thing he done in my opinion was in the episode Ock the Evil. In this episode, the stress of being superheroes is too much for the girls, and it's causing a rift between them. So, you know who seizes the opportunity to psychologically break the girls.
Yes, Bubbles, I can talk. And I heard what you were saying about your sisters. You're right, Bubbles. It's wrong for them to fight.
You are talking.
Yes, Bubbles. Come closer so I can tell you more.
She, him, whatever it is, decides to use Octi, Bubbles' octopus plushie, to help manipulate Bubbles in her silent state.
That's disturbing.
And if that's not creepy enough, I mean surely it can't get any more creepier than that. I mean, this is a kid's show after all. Jesus! Yeah, can we stop talking about him and move on? You know what the worst part is about that? That was Hum's very first appearance in the show. He's our current villain, obviously, but talk about your villain debut. I mean, he's done scarier things since then, but I don't think anything tops this in my opinion. He's overall an evil, disturbing villain, and probably the only reason I quit the show Knife is probably because of him. Because overall, when I think it's a good show, I'm kind of giving it extra points for nostalgia factor. I enjoyed it growing up and all, but it was good, but well, it's definitely far better than the new remake, although that's not an accomplishment in itself. Also, the Powerpuff Girls is one of the few Cartoon Network shows to actually have a theatrical movie. It flopped massively, mainly because if you believe me, the vast majority of fans for the show was actually little boys instead of little girls. And you can imagine the awkwardness in asking your parents, I want to go see the Powerpuff Girls movie. So yeah, when I heard it came out, I actually really wanted to see it too, but I didn't ask my parents for the exact same thing. They knew I watched the show and since the movie flopped, Cartoon Network has always been skeptical about releasing movies in cinemas. Most of the time, they'll just make it a TV movie, which is good, but I don't know. There's some made for TV movies that I've seen from Cartoon Network, and I would love to see them get released in the big cinema. I think it'd be great to see, but what can you do? And as I'm sure you're aware, like I mentioned, the show has got a reboot, and from what I've seen, it's not, I mean, when they're not twerking and doing whatever that is, I mean, this is one of your most beloved early cartoons you made, and you treat it like this, it's actually quite surprising. I'm more surprised and shocked, but it's not the first time the Powerpuff Girls came back. After the show was cancelled, Cartoon Network Japan revived the show under the title Powerpuff Girls, the original name. Now, I've only seen about 3 or 4 episodes of this show, and from what I've seen, all I can say is that it's Japanese Powerpuff Girls. It's actually the best way to describe it. I mean, they have a Japanese art style, kind of a bit sexualized. However, there are some major differences in this show compared to the original. For example, the Powerpuff Girls were not created by Professor Utonium in this show. Instead, they were just ordinary Japanese schoolgirls who were hit by chemical Z-rays. Oh, that's why it's called that. Oh, I get it now. However, unlike the original series, Professor Utonium actually has a biological child.
What?
Called Ken. And, does he sound familiar?
Obviously, the burglar was extremely careful not to wake us. A real professional. I mean, I'm not quite ready to go yet. Why don't we have a massage? I was really hoping to get, this thingy.
That's right, it's Spike from My Little Pony. And that's the Powerpuff Girls, a great crime-fighting cartoon that should have stayed dead. Shut up! Next on my list, we are going to look at another show, written by Jenna T. Tarakovsky. That was also getting a reboot later this year. Praying this one will be good. Can you guess what it is? Yeah, that one. Number 8. Samurai Jack. Now, I don't know about you, but I am pumped about the upcoming Samurai Jack revival. I don't know what's better, the fact that it's coming back to TV, or the fact that it's going to be an Adult Swim, which means, hopefully, it'll be more adult and serious than the original was. Anyway, for those who haven't seen the show before, you know what? I'll let the late great Mako describe the plot to you.
Long ago in a distant land, I, Aku, the shape-shifting master of darkness, unleashed an unspeakable evil. But a foolish samurai warrior wielding a magic sword stepped forth to oppose me. Before the final blow was struck, I tore open a portal in time and flung him into the future, where my evil is law. Now the fool seeks to return to the past and undo the future that is Aku.
A samurai warrior is sent into the future by the evil Aku. Aku to the future, where he is taking control. Our main character, Jack, is a prince who also, as you've seen in the intro, wields a magic sword. Jack is also very kind and extremely generous. I remember multiple times during the series where he would sacrifice the chance to go back in time in order to save someone, which obviously shows how generous this man is, or should I say, heroic. And that's the perfect way to describe Samurai Jack. He'll always do whatever it takes to save a life. Oh, and he also totally looks like Professor Utonium from Powerpuff Girls. It's actually uncanny. And that's our hero, so let's take a look at our villain, Aku, the personification of evil, voiced by the late great Mako. Aku is an awesome villain. I mean, just look at him, his tall, slender figure, his deep, booming voice.
I suppose you know why you're here. Your efforts are in vain, samurai. Destroy! here. The all-powerful blade of the samurai. The only power that can harm me. Yes, samurai, I shall destroy this sword and become truly invincible. But not before I smite thee. How fitting indeed to be destroyed by the blade of your worthless father. Enough of this foolishness. It is time to let fate determine our destiny. Once again, I am free to smite the world as I did in days long past. What?
And of course, his flaming eyebrows. He is, like I said earlier, the embodiment of evil. Either bow down before him or be destroyed. He's cruel, arrogant, sadistic, and even sometimes a bit goofy.
Who can say where the road goes, where the day flows, only time.
But he is one of the best villains in cartoon history. But despite his occasional goofy nature, he is not one to be messed with. Believe me, in today's modern cartoons, a lot of effort is put into animation, character development, plot, and lore. But that wasn't always the case back in the past. But I feel that this is one of the first cartoon shows to successfully do this. This show did not sugarcoat its plots. Some of the plots for the episodes were just so evil and depressing. I doubt any other of these shows would have these plots like this, and more importantly, I doubt they get away with it. But the main reason I love the show is that it treats its audience, children no less, like adults. And not many cartoons at the time could say that. Samurai Jack. He was hoping the remake is just as good as this cartoon was. Oh, and the theme song is great as well. Number 7. Ben 10. Honestly, when I watched Ben 10 as a kid, I didn't really like the show that much. It wasn't horrible, I just preferred other shows at the time. Even shows I already talked about before, I enjoyed more than Ben 10. But as I got older and rewatched a few episodes of the show, I started to realise this is a pretty good show. The plot of the show revolves around a 10-year-old boy called Ben Tennyson who finds an alien device that attaches itself to his wrist to allow him to transform into 10 different aliens. Basically every 10-year-old's dream right there. Then, with his newfound powers, he fights off aliens from Earth and space. The show revolves around the Tennyson family. Ben, voiced by Tara Strong, who, as I'm sure you're aware, voices every character in existence. His sister Gwen, voiced by Megan Smith, and his grandpa Max, voiced by Paul Edelin. You know, the Colonel from Metal Gear.
Will it be Solidus, the Patriot's creation, or you, Solidus's creation? Our beloved monsters, enjoy yourselves.
They spend the entirety of the summer vacation travelling all across America in Grandpa Max's RV called Rusty. Oh, and they also fight aliens and monsters and other supernatural creatures, but that's not important. As well as the heroes, there are also some great villains, most notably Volgax, one of the most hated and feared aliens in the galaxy. In the past, he was an enemy of Grandpa Max, and now, years later, stronger than ever, he will stop at nothing until he gets his hands on the Omnitrix. Another villain I remember was Kevin Levin, an 11-year-old boy who has the ability to absorb energy. With that, he uses these powers to commit crimes. He originally wants to team up with Ben, but after Ben refuses, he absorbs power from the Omnitrix, which turns him into a monster. He blames Ben for this, and becomes his secondary enemy. Kevin Levin and Volgax are honestly the only two villains I remember, and more importantly, the only two villains I liked personally. The rest were good, but I preferred those two over the latter. Like I said earlier, growing up, I honestly really didn't like the show that much, but as I got older, the series progressed and got better and better. Let's just say that my opinion on the show has greatly changed. As I'm sure you're aware, Ben 10 spawned into a really popular series, and it's probably one of the best shows Cartoon Network has ever made financially. It has multiple TV shows, movies, and I've even heard about an upcoming reboot soon, so I wonder how that will go. I really wish the show would top this list would get a reboot, but you'll have to watch part 2 to find out what that show is. So join me next time in part 2, where I look at my top 6 favourite Cartoon Network shows. I'll see you then. Goodbye and take care.